Martelle with us.
I do not think that I am physically or emotionally equipped at this point in my life to relive that weekend. You know what would happen if we all tried to go down there again? We would last till about 9 o'clock every night.
Well, that's what I said.
I wouldn't even make it that long.
Jay wanted to go down. He's like, hey, when he turned 30, we went out by Eric's father-in-law's lake, and there are these he told us there are these little cabins, so you each have your own cabin.
Yeah.
It's down by Jefferson Outlet. Well, the cabin's really shed, so we didn't know that. So I ended up sleeping in a raft, an inflatable raft that night.
On the water.
And no, in the shed, because I didn't trust anybody.
It in the morning.
And, well, I'm a hefty individual. So what happened was my inflatable raft became more of a sleeping bag. And
a rubber sleeping bag.
So yeah, that was a fun night. But when Jay turned 30, that's when we
wrapped up in a lake condom.
We went down. We went down there, hit golf balls in the lake, and just chilled out. Well, he just told me recently. He said, when I turn 35, Louisville Part 3. He said we got to finish the trilogy, and I was like, bro. I said, you've realized we're going to get down there, and after a 3.5 hour drive, we're all going to want a nap. We're going to walk into the liquor bar, and everyone else is going to go, that's way too much.
Yes.
We'll try to go to the club, and they'll be like, sir, it's still daylight out. You can't dance here.
I can't even go to the neighbors without wanting to come back by 8 o'clock.
Yeah,
and
that's
he's
your
next
neighbor's
door.
weird.
Well, that's me and my wife's life. We're like, hey, there's a new movie out. Do you want to go to the movies? Yeah, let's check the times. It starts at 7:30. We're not gonna get home till 10.
Yeah, they went to the movie like a month ago.
What's on TV?
I texted him and he didn't reply, so I texted his wife and she replied. And I texted their son, who we never text. I was like, Isaiah, are you all alive? Did you kill your parents? Has there been carbon monoxide poisoning in your house? Because G never takes 2-3 hours to respond to me. He just doesn't go out late. But yeah, I told her, I said, I think if we go back to Louisville, dude, it'll literally be like, okay, where do you want to have brunch tomorrow? Because I'm sleeping until 9. Then
Right.
I want to be back in the hotel by 8. You know, it's just, I said, I just can't do it. I haven't drink like that in a long time, like at least 7 hours. Or no, but for real, that whole week of just nonstop.
Can't do
Even
it.
if I wanted to, which I do not have the desire to do what we did then. I could not.
Even when we go on vacation now, I try to set aside one day where it's going to get ugly. But it takes me 2 days to recover from it.
I was going to say, how many recovery days do you set aside? I need
2 days to recover. Like, anytime we go to, like, Grand Turk, that's, like, my spot. Because you get right off the boat, and there's a Margaritaville right there. And the beach is right with Margaritaville. And they have dollar Jello shots.
You just go drink margaritas and sit in the sand.
No. I walk in.
That's what you would do.
That's what I would do.
That's not what he does.
9:30 in the morning, and whoever the waiter or waitress is that comes around to where our seats are at the pool, I order 25 Jello shots, and then I hit all those in about 5 minutes. And that sets my base for the day.
Which, for somebody that, like, smokes his own meat and has a big beard and everything, you would not picture, like, yo,
smokes his
so
meat.
tanked on Jello shots last night. But he will suck down Jello shots like they're candy,
like it's
dude.
my job.
He made some at home one time. He's like, you want to try one? I was like, sure. And he came out and he had like a stack of like 7. I was like, 1. He's like, no, one's for you. And he just sat him by his recliner, just popping the cap off and shooting these things. Because he makes them in these little individual cups with the lid.
Buddy.
And he's just like got a stack of them. He's just popping them. I'm like, oh, okay.
Hey, whatever it takes.
I almost related a Jello joke to a Bill Cosby joke there. I stopped myself.
Pudding pops. Oh.
Why is this Jello making me feel so funny?
Why am I sore tomorrow?
Hey, rape jokes are not funny.
Okay.
Stop, I'm kidding. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to. It's a joke. It's a joke, everybody. That's the problem with having G on it. You get one of my best friends on here, there's so many inside jokes, which honestly we are open about.
Yeah, for the most part. What's hard is when you get guys together and they have lots of stories about each other, and one of them shares those stories with the other one's wife after the one goes to bed.
I hate guys like that.
And ruins that guy's life for a week.
I cannot stand when people do that. Guys, keep your stories to yourself.
I know.
I would never do such a thing accidentally at 1 a.m.
Right.
In an altered state of mind.
Right.
There's nothing like waking up to a text from one of your best friends that goes, bro, what did you do? And you're going, like my reply was, I don't know. What did I do? So it was.
It's even better when you have a microphone in front of you and you put it out on the internet for everybody.
That's all I'm putting out about that. That happened a little while ago. That one's already been
Yeah, that was a while ago.
He done had to suffer through it. He's over that one now.
Yeah.
And by the way, Aunt Krista, I love you. Yeah, it's funny because people are like, "Wait, your uncle's your best friend?" That's kind of creepy. I was like, "No, he's like 6 years older than me." My mom is one of the older
a weird
of
Freudian
5
slip.
kids.
Wow.
I mean, we're all from Kentucky and Southern Ohio. First and second cousins only.
My wife's the youngest of 5 kids, and she's
Yeah.
15 years younger than the youngest and 21.
Basically, long story short, there's a big age gap between my mom's age and her youngest sister's age, which is who he's married to. So, like, I say we're best friends. We do a lot together, but not that far apart in age. Far enough that I get to call him really old.
That's fair.
But really, it's more your mentality. You just act old. Come on, Diesel. Our mascots went back on the Phaeton.
And he doesn't want to jump either. He's just like, I'm
but
going to
there was one time I was over at their house and he decided to go to bed early because he's old. And we were sitting on the back patio around the fire and I wasn't thinking anything of it. And apparently I told some stories that I thought she was already aware of. And I was telling to other folks. And
You
she
were
didn't say
wrong.
nothing. She didn't say a word. She was like laughing like, oh, and you know how Krista does. Like if I think back, she was probably more of that like where you can tell she's not happy about it, but she does the smile like the kind of, you know what I'm talking about. In that moment, I didn't pick up on that. So I divulged some information. I mean, it was nothing bad, nothing that, you know.
Nothing
it was
life
just,
altering. It was just stories that I had
it was
never.
just enough that he chose not to
Yeah,
divulge.
I had never been asked about it. Therefore, I never had an opportunity to need to lie about it.
Fuck you, fish. Fuck you. I'm going to eat your family.
Well, no, that one we did tell.
No,
I
she
think.
knew that story.
Oh.
That one.
I just
Yeah,
know that
no.
the next morning I wake up and it was a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And I got up. It was during football season, and I coach football. And I got up and I went into film in the morning, and I get home about noon. And she's sitting on the couch, and I come and sit on my chair and just kind of relax. And she goes, "So, you never told me X, Y, Z." And I went, "Shit."
He's sitting there trying to figure out how she found out.
I'm like, she goes, "Well, Randy was telling me some interesting stories last night." And I immediately grabbed my phone, and I'm like, "You son of a bitch, mother."
I got a real angry text, and I woke up thinking, man, we had a good time last night. I had some friends hanging out, and I was like, he's awful angry. Now, the way we talk to each other, like, we're really calm here, actually, but we really are awful.
Oh, yeah. People that don't know us are like, God, you guys must hate each other.
Well, for years, Krista thought, she would tell him, like, you two don't need to hang out. You're really mean to each other. We're like,
But that's how we
we're
love.
having a great day.
That's how we love.
And yeah, so he texted me, and at first I was like, okay, well, something happened, and he's just kind of mad, you know. And I was like, okay, what happened? And then he told me, I was like, I didn't say a word. And he's like, she's sitting here like blah blah blah, saying you said this last night, and she was perfectly sober and of sound mind. I was like, huh. I think my next text was just a question mark, like, my bad. I mean, what do you do? Yeah, that's what happens when you share stories from way back when.
Cat's out of the bag. What are you
Yeah.
going to do?
Well, I mean, she knows now, so you ain't got to worry about it the rest of your life. You're welcome. Don't got to stress about that one. No, my favorite time that Krista she got real mad at me. GW had a problem with his foot because he's fat.
Oh, this is awesome.
And he went to the doctor, and this is when Beth and I, before we had kids, we lived just a couple blocks from him, and we'd go to their house 3-4 nights a
Well, the
week.
thing that's weird, I wasn't
for dinner.
super fat then.
No, you actually weren't. That was when you were
No.
only mildly fat.
Right.
And he had this problem where his feet would feel numb or tingly or something. So he went and got checked out, and they were like, well, it could be one of the 3 things. And one of the 3 things it could have been was Lou Gehrig's disease. And they were very serious. So, he like called us and told us, because I said, hey, let us know what's going on. And they were like, yeah, they said it could be this, which is simple, this, which is, can be treated, or Lou Gehrig's disease. And at the time, we just, when I say recently, in recent memory, lost somebody to Lou Gehrig's disease that we knew growing up.
Yeah.
And who was very important to our family. And I was like, so I told Beth, we need to go over to their place tonight and hang out. And I was kind of like, you don't know what to do. When somebody gets news like that, it's kind of hard to process it. When somebody that you care about hears that they may be dying slowly and there's nothing that can stop it, it's not something that most people are like, oh, no problem.
So
We'll get
we
through it.
process it through being assholes to each
Right.
other.
So we go over, and Krista and Beth are making dinner in the kitchen, and we're being grown men doing manly things and playing Halo.
Right.
And we're sitting on the couch. So we can hear them from the kitchen. They can hear us, and we're all talking, and we're playing Halo, and we're kind of just sitting there kind of like oh hell, how are we going to deal with this? You know, I want to be there for my friend, and he's just kind of hanging out. We're kind of talking, and for some reason, it just popped in my head. I'm sitting there, I don't even like look at him at first. I'm playing Halo and sitting on the other end of the couch, and I go, you know, I hope it's not Lou Gehrig's disease, but if it is, can I get you a Yankees jersey, like a number 3 Yankees jersey? And he just loses it.
It was awesome.
Right? So he's laughing, and I'm laughing. We're joking about it. Like, oh, you've got this deadly disease. I'm going to dress you in Lou Gehrig's jersey, or I'm going to buy you Lou Gehrig's jersey. And then we kind of just settled down.
My wife was pissed.
Well, no, she didn't get real mad until we really started laughing. We kind of settled down. He's like, oh, that's pretty funny. I went, well, you know, I guess if you wait long enough, I can put it on you, and you can't do anything about it. Well, we absolutely lose it, and we're both like in tears, man. We're just having a good time, and Krista comes in and goes, what's so funny? And I'm like, nothing. Gino's like, nothing. No, what's so funny? So finally I tell her what I just told y'all.
Oh, she was so pissed.
Went, like, she was smiling like, oh, sounds funny. She went stone faced. She was so mad at me. She's like, how did he say he's your best friend? And he, you know, and she's going off. I can't remember what all she said, so I'm gonna put words in my mouth. She went off, and she was basically like, basically telling me get out of the house, you know, blah blah. And we're like, I'm like, this is how we deal with stuff. I don't know how to deal with hard stuff without laughing about it at some point. And yeah, that's our relationship. So it's like, the funny thing is, if GW did have Lou Gehrig's disease and I bought him that jersey, he would appreciate it, because he knows that it's like, I'm saying, bro, I'm here with you. It's just the way we handle things.
And if I didn't appreciate it, I couldn't tell you.
Right. It wouldn't matter. So I'd say, oh, he loves it. He wants to wear it every day.
It's for the rest of eternity. Which
won't be very long. So but that's how, you know, every time I get bad news in my life, that's how I process it. And, well, for example, last Wednesday, I had a doctor's appointment. I found a lump on my breast, and no, I did find a lump on my belly button. It's not from my breast. I massage them too often to get lumps. So
it's from the belly button piercing you had.
Right between your breasts.
Right, it got infected. My belly button piercing got infected, right? And, well, I'd lost the piercing itself. It, like, got sucked in years ago. But no,
it's got its own gravitational well.
No, like one of my pet peeves is, like, I'm a fat guy, but I refuse to be the fat, disgusting guy that when, like, you know when he sits on your furniture, like, well, we need new furniture. I refuse to be that guy, so I shower every morning regardless. I am
getting rid of that chair after this.
That's fine. That's why I got my own mic. But it's like, I shower every morning. If I work hard, I get all sweaty. I shower at night before I climb in my bed, you know. And one day I was showering and I was washing my belly button, because that's what, I mean, if you're fat, you better be doing it, guys. Or girls, I won't judge. And I was like,
unless you don't, then we're judging.
Absolutely. But no, I was like, oh, that's different. Well, I'm being the guy I am. I'm like, hey, that'll go away. Well, 3.5, 4 weeks goes by. Then my stomach starts hurting, like, for a week. And then I was having these chest pains. And I was like, hey, Beth, maybe I need to see a doctor. She's like, why? And I told her this. She was like, how long? I was like, about a month. So she gets me in the next appointment. I go Wednesday. And they're like, yeah, you have some kind of a hernia, and you're going to need to see a surgeon. And for the chest pain stuff, we want to check your heart. We're going to do an EKG before you leave here. This isn't safe, blah, blah. My blood test came back great. They were like, all your blood levels are good. Your lungs are strong. Your cholesterol's great. Your sugar's fine.
We have no explanation for this.
Well, that's the thing. They look at, like, when I walk in and I'm pushing like 4 bills, they're like, oh, yeah, he's about to die.
This dude's fucked up.
But then she checks my lungs. They do the EKG. My heart comes back fine. She's like, your heart's really strong. Your lungs are great. Your blood works perfect.
And you were like, it has to be.
Yeah. She's like, you're not even well, it's because I'm always working out. You lift weights, I carry weight.
Right. I breathe. It's a workout. It's
like, when I walk up the steps, I count those as lunges, squats, anything I can. But yeah, so basically she was like, she goes, no, everything looks good. You know, you need to lose weight, but everything looks healthy. I'm like, well, okay, so at least I'm not dying. And the hernia thing, she's like, try not to lift anything heavy. Well, like, that's my job, is to...
It's what I do.
Yeah, I lift
daily
heavy things. Unless I can get out of it. And then I definitely will get out of it. And so, yeah, Wednesday, the way I dealt with it was getting in the chat box with some of my buddies and just telling them, like, well, the good news is I'm not dead yet. But, you know, and I was kind of joking with it. When bad situations arise, I have to laugh about them, make light of them. Because otherwise, I don't know how to process them. I'm not emotionally or mentally equipped to deal with this crap. So when my dog died, my wife wanted a dog when we got married. That's what she wanted for her wedding gift. She picked out this champion breed toy poodle.
I still think it got ate by an eagle.
That's exactly it. My dad, he was staying with my parents when we were out in the cabin in Logan right after Huck was born. My dad let him out. Every day this dog goes out, he does not go more than 5 feet from the door. He wants to be on your lap at all times. He never, ever goes anywhere.
Didn't want to be on my lap.
Let him out. Well, that's because your lap's not a normal lap. You're not a fat guy, but your
I
gut.
was pretty mean to that dog because I didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
Kind of like you are to one of my dogs.
Hash?
No, Marley. You guys hate Marley.
I don't hate Marley as much as I hate Hash. I think it was funny that Marley puked all over the leg part of your chair and you couldn't get up to clean it and you were just stuck there with it by your legs.
Yeah, that was pretty nasty.
That was awesome. I was laughing like 2 weekends ago. He was like, somebody help it. I'm laughing. I'm like, dude, it's right by your legs. He's like, I can't move. He couldn't put it down because it's still on the carpet. But yeah, great dog. But yeah, no, I mean, the dog got carried away by something. There's a bunch of owls out by my folks that live out in the country. You know, there is bald eagle's nest somewhere around there.
It was a thunderbird.
It could have been a thunderbird.
Ooh.
Full on had a mullet and everything.
Native American mythology. Let's go.
But yeah, so I think the thing got eaten, so I joke about it. I mean, I think that dog wasn't my fur baby, so I didn't care about it that much. But when bad situations come up, I have to make fun of them. Hey, Flat Earth just popped up on your screensaver.
I think that's just an asteroid.
No. You can't prove it. You can't see
Jinx.
the other side. Except that, I mean, in the word it says how to tell an asteroid from a comet, but still.
It's an asteroid.
Nah, that's your opinion.
It's a space
It's
dildo.
how I feel about it.
It's, how,
It's a
tell me
space
how you
dildo.
feel. Too far.
That's what it looks like.
Way too far. I mean, anything is if you're brave enough, I guess. I'm going to get so much flack for this one. This one might be the one that Beth listens to and says, you know what?
Too far.
We need to reevaluate where we are in life. Which I think she's done a few times since we've been
Absolutely.
married.
Absolutely. Life is a series of evaluations at all times.
I've never passed one.
Everything is a risk-reward proposition.
So I've been eating healthy?
On purpose?
Yeah, well,
Why?
the whole
I need
Well,
you to
I do it every day, but why?
Define-
doctor thing. I was going to say, you're in better shape than any of us by far.
define eating. I've been running
Ew.
consistently.
That's dumb.
Just saying.
You don't run, you yog.
No, I've actually been running.
Like, you
Not
run like a Yeti.
sprinting, but I've been running.
I lumber.
Anyway, well, with the whole
10-minute mile pace, baby.
Lumber.
Fat guy special.
10-minute mile pace once.
That's my pace.
No, the doctor's like, you need to lose weight. And I was like, you know what, doc? I think you're right. I have not gone to school for like 12 or 16
I'm really
or 20
glad
years.
you told me this. I wasn't aware
But,
until right now.
You know what? Sometimes I don't agree with doctors, but looking in this mirror and being hooked up to a heart monitor, I think you're correct.
See, but that's my problem
So-
with losing weight. I think to myself on a relatively consistent basis when I'm just like
Fat.
around other human beings,
Oh.
I should probably lose a little bit of weight. Now, I'm not ridiculously fat, but I'm a chunky
You're
man.
lumpy.
I'm strangely shaped. That's true.
Your weight is in weird places.
I'm tall and I carry my weight in weird places, so I don't look real fat. Like when I tell people how much I weigh, they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah, really." But the problem is this: I'm like, "Yeah, I should probably lose a little bit of weight, get in better shape." And then I get out of the shower in the morning, I look in the mirror, and I'm like, it's not that bad. And then I go on with my day.
I mean, I do that too because we have one of those skinny mirrors and I can only see half of me. But, well, she said the thing is the doctor's like, all this pain you're having in your chest because it's in different parts. So she's like, your heart, it's not your heart,
That's
your lungs
gas.
sound good.
You have gas.
No, she said, she even asked me, I was like, yeah, I've been farting like crazy. Good, keep doing that. Which when I did at the dinner table at Mom's last week, and
Burns
she yelled
calories.
at me. She yelled at me. I said, look, the doctor told me if I had to do it. I'm only following doctor's orders. But I was like, I need to eat a little better. She told me that mostly the pain in my chest and stuff is because of stress, which I was like, that's bull crap. I never believe in that crap. And she's like, well, what's happened this year? Like since January. I said, well, first thing I did this year, really, I bought an old truck that I like. That was fun. Found out we were going to have a kid. Lost our apartment because the guy filed bankruptcy and didn't tell us, and we were basically homeless for 4 months. Had a death in the family recently and changed jobs. She went, okay, 4 of the things you just listed are on our top 10 list of the most stress-induced killers or like medical things ever. So she's like, it's probably stress. So I was like, okay, so I'm
So
going
the
to start.
universe is trying to give you a hint.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to try and de-stress. And I told my wife this, and she's been very good about, hey, are you comfortable? Do you need anything? And mind you, she's in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy after losing 2 kids. Like, she's going through a lot herself. And every day I'm sitting there, she's like, hey, I made this pizza. How much do you want? I'm like, just give me 2 slices. I'm making, how many sandwiches do you want for dinner? Just give me one. Like, I'm like, feed me like I'm a normal human being. Not
a rhinoceros at the
not
zoo.
a gorilla. But, so when I say healthy, I'm really trying to cut back. I'm cutting out a lot of the junk food I'd eat. Like, midnight snack being a box of Nutty Bars. I try to cut that out.
A box?
Glad you picked up on that. No, I only eat half a box at a time. Don't be ridiculous.
It's like eating Fig Newtons.
But, dude, Fig Newtons are the...
Gross.
I will not buy Fig Newtons, but if somebody gives me Fig Newtons, I will eat them all.
Gross.
I don't know why.
I don't eat Fig Newtons. I eat them by the sleeve.
Oh, so
I would
nasty.
just dump a sleeve in a bowl and eat them like cereal. Pour milk over them, let them get soggy.
How about strawberry Newtons? I like strawberry Newtons.
Same thing. I mean,
I can do that.
I
But
just
Fig Newtons are
eat
gross.
them by
This is
the
how
sleeve,
fat I am.
though. I don't eat them like I don't
But
eat just like 2 or 3. I eat them like a wood chipper.
Have you noticed? I'm like a really
deep throw
cheap.
us. Plastic and all.
I'm really cheap, so normally I'll buy the generic brand of whatever.
That might be why you hate
Doesn't
a lot
matter
of
to
things.
me. You can't eat generic Fig Newtons or generic strawberry
No,
Newtons.
no,
They
no,
are
no, no.
not.
I didn't
the
know they
same.
got more generic than that.
Oh yeah, no.
Do they have them at Dollar General? Because I'll get some
or
tonight.
Discount Grocery Outlet. One of the two.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
I love that place.
The bonus being there that they're like 2 months past the expiration date, so they got just a little stale to them.
Hey. If I can eat gum from 1962, ain't nothing wrong with 2-month-old Fig Newtons.
God.
Yeah, I listened back to that and I was like, yeah, that was pretty gross. But anyway, I was saying all that eating healthy thing to say that I just looked over in one of your boxes here in the studio is an IGA pancake and waffle syrup box, and I got hungry for pancakes.
Yeah, that box is pretty old. It's got CDs in it.
Let down. Really, I was about to crack open a fresh bottle of syrup and start chugging it.
It's all CDs.
Man, I'm so fat.
Yeah, you are.
My problem is it's
So why don't you start doing what you used to do and just go out and grab the 3-ounce gloves and start running again and punching that trees?
Well, we don't live in Logan, so I can't punch
It
that
doesn't
tree.
matter. You can still
used to do that.
You can still abuse some trees.
JJ used to tell me like you need to be able to control your punches, how hard you hit, how far. So I would work with MMA gloves and a tree because I was like, well, if I hit too hard, I'll know it.
Yeah. So why don't you go out and start doing that again?
I got to work up to that. I'd already been working like 2 years when I got to that point.
So start walking and abuse some saplings.
I do walk. I came all the way up these stairs and used some saplings. That was good. That one almost slipped by me. No, I did. I started walking today. I got up and went out for a walk to the car, and then we went to church. So that was a good. I think I walked like
For a walk to the car.
walked. No, for real though. Today I walked probably at least 45 yards.
That's it?
I'm kidding. I don't know.
I got 12 steps in. That's what my
Well, no,
pedometer
I had to
says.
go out the front door and walk down the street where I parked my truck to get some out of it, and then back to the apartment out the back door to the car.
According to
So
my
it was
watch,
like-
I've done 6,000 steps today.
But see, that's the thing with everybody counts steps.
That's
All it is a way to track that you moved. I get it. Like, it gets people thinking about it. It's kind of like tracking your food. You don't know how much you eat until you track it.
Right.
But your step is different than mine.
right.
It's different strides. It's different
It's
calories
different,
burned.
strides.
but on average, like an adult male, on average, a stride is going to be walking stride is going to be roughly 2 to 2.5 feet.
Oh,
now 3 feet's a long stride. Like a yard is a long stride.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not a Yeti, so
Yeah, like for me, I'm 6'4". I'm not
Well, you're
quite.
6'4", but you walk like you're like a Yeti and a penguin had a baby. You kind of waddle.
Well, at this point,
Not like Jay.
my knees are completely shot, so that's fair. But like for me during football season, now that we're into like spring, not spring, but our 2 days and camp days and everything else, like we had camp at OCU last week, and we were averaging 18 to 19,000 steps a day. Coaches were.
Yeah.
The kids were doing way more than
oh,
that.
they're doing way more than that
Oh yeah.
because they fuck up and you're like sprints,
Well, and just in general,
and then they
they're
come
doing
back and you're
way
like more sprints.
What are you? What's the punishment at the high school now? You coach at the high school I grew up at.
Correct.
And I did not play football at.
Correct.
But I did a couple times train with the football team to try and stay in shape for baseball season, like a resemblance of a shape.
Stayed
And
in
not
A
round.
shape.
right, like less round, like
More like pencil shape, but
no,
bulbous.
like one of those big giant fat
More like
novelty
if you take a
pencils.
Like a
square
pencil with
in
a-
Illustrator
a-
and you pull the sides apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of with rounded edges.
Right.
I like the rounded edges. They're fancier.
Okay. Go ahead with what you were saying, though.
What was I saying? Oh, what's the punishment now for when a kid really screws up? Because where we had the high school at, the football field's still in the same spot.
Yeah, but the practice field was right outside the athletic rooms.
Right. It was right outside there. And then there was a light pole over by where there used to be an elementary school.
Yes.
And it would be just called running poles. Like a coach got mad, you'd be like, pole.
It's about 250 yards.
And you would just have to run there and back. And I was out there with a team that I didn't really play on, and I practiced a couple times, just very few. And one time I was out there, the whole team was just doing awful. I'm like, I'm not even on this team. They're like poles. And I was like, yeah, y'all suck. And he's like, hey, you're at this practice. I was like, no, I'm just here to get some cardio in, chill. Nope. He's like, nope.
You won't be back if you don't run this pole.
Well, the good news is I ran that pole and still didn't go back. It was weight training only from then on.
We don't, when you talk about that type of stuff, the culture has shifted so much.
Here we go. Flag football's next.
No, I can't think of the last time we punished kids by making them run. We don't even have.
What do? Threaten to take away their snack?
We don't have. We just take them out. We don't have we have very little structured endurance training. We just go really fast through all of our drills. They got to sprint from drill station to drill station. When we're in team, we just go as fast as we can. Unfortunately, if you make it any harder than that, kids won't play. And it sucks. It's the reality, though. The second year that I was at Circleville, this is my 7th year there. My second year, we had 78 kids. And that's the most kids that have been on a football team in Circleville for a really long time. This year, we've got 36.
That's almost not enough kids to play.
We probably won't be able to play JV games.
That's stupid.
And it's not an issue of
how many kids are at the school now?
At the school, probably 750.
See, that's
boys. We've probably got 300.
That's 150% of the kids that were there when I went. There are more kids there now than I went.
No, and we just can't get them out. The kids don't want to play. It takes work. It takes effort.
Parents,
it takes commitment.
You suck.
Yeah, no, I agree. It takes commitment. It takes effort, and kids don't want to do it. And
they don't have to anymore.
I don't know what the solution is to it, but it's not just a Circleville thing. Everybody's struggling with numbers.
You know what chaps my cheeks? No, I was just going to say, though, I agree with you. I think the parents are, in the end, being a youth pastor, talking to people who are teachers, this and that, the parents always want their kid to do everything, but never want to invest in their kid. Well, my kid is 4, and when he drops something, I say, Huck, pick it up. You have to. Whoa. No. You stop what we're doing. I will turn off a TV. I'll take away whatever he's doing. No, we're stopping until you handle this issue. I'm not going to let him get away with thinking the world's going to take care of him, because the reality is it's not.
Well, it comes down to parents thinking their kids are the greatest things on the planet.
Right.
I mean...
And to be honest, most of your kids suck.
It's... Parents nowadays will do everything for their kids.
Well, but even parents don't have to work as hard.
Well, Huck dropped something, and he's like, no, you pick it up. And the parents will literally pick it up
because they don't want to deal with
the tantrum or whatever else, or they will do stuff like, well, why can't my kid do that? My kid's doing blah 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 blah. Or when I was down at Kings Island, there was a little boy in the kids bumper cars thing, and he's not stepping on the gas, but he's sitting there just turning the wheel on the bumper car. His dad's reaching over and pushing the car out of the way. And the lady's like, sir, don't reach over the railing. He's like, my kid's not going anywhere. Not her problem. Your kid's too dumb to push on the gas pedal, so you shouldn't be reaching over.
Your kid does
and
not
he just keeps continuously reaching over, endangering himself and his kid, because he thinks that his kid should be out there moving as well, but his kid's too dumb to push the fucking gas pedal.
Well, and to make that, I mean, I know this is kind of a relatively serious topic, but parents not only do that stuff with their kids, but they make their kids the center of their lives.
Right.
And do you know the segment of American, and it's truly a uniquely American thing. The segment of the American population that's seen the highest rise in divorce rates over the last 20 years is empty nesters.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because these two people that decided to spend their lives together procreated, and then their entire lives became about their children for 18 years, and they ignored each other for the most part.
Right.
And then all of a sudden the kids are gone and they don't know this person anymore. They don't have anything in common with this person anymore, and they split up. I know Krista and I, people always gave us a little bit of a hard time. They didn't understand it. Our kids are grown. But we made a very conscientious effort, not only to not do that, but to make sure our kids understood why we didn't do that. Like,
because we don't love you.
We love you, but you're not the center of our lives. You're not going to be the center of anybody's life other than your own,
Right.
for the rest of your life. So get used to it.
Right. We do the same thing with our kids. It's constant. So we do CrossFit. I mean, that is our big thing. Every day after work, we come home. I pick the girls up from daycare. We come home. Boom. We hit the gym. Like Liz goes right now because of our schedule. Liz goes to the 5:30 class. I go to the 6:30 class. But the girls go with us. I mean, it is when all of our schedules mesh. They're at the gym with us, and they complain. Why do we have to go to the gym? I don't want to, because it's not about you. It's about us as a family going to the gym.
This is what we do. This is who we are.
Whether you work out at the gym or not doesn't matter.
Well,
you're going. You grew up in the gym.
I remember before Harley was born, but when Harley was first born, she was there in a carrier.
Yeah. Harley, my youngest is literally grown up in the gym.
It's the people who are like, hey, my wife and I are going on a date. We're taking our kids with us.
That's not a date.
No, exactly.
That's a family outing.
Exactly, which is not the same thing.
Yeah, and that's fine.
And it's okay to have family outings, but you got to. It's the same thing when people. I can't stand when people are like, in a relationship or anything else. Well, this doesn't make me happy. This person doesn't make me happy anymore. That person never made you happy. You're responsible for your own happiness.
Right.
If you can't figure that out, it doesn't matter who you're with. You're always going to have issues. Like, you're responsible for your own happiness. Nothing outside of you can make you happy.
Right.
It can patch over whatever you're feeling. It can, provide some numbness to a situation.
I think other people can make you happy. I think other things can make you happy.
Money will make me happy.
I don't even want money. If I could hit the lottery that said you have no debt ever and you don't have to work again ever, that's all I need. I don't know what that amount is.
Well, for me, that's...
Sure, the $500 million lottery covers those boxes, but it's not just the money itself. For me, it's the not having the stress of the worry.
Well, that's exactly what it is. Same thing.
I think
because they say money doesn't buy happiness, but you know what?
It'll buy me a boat.
It'll buy me paying off all my debts. It'll buy me paying off this house and knocking it down and building another one. It'll
buy you a new S5.
It'll buy me better than an S5.
Tesla.
No, I don't want a Tesla.
Dude.
Oh, I do.
You know what? I'm not into the electric car thing.
No, hold on. Time out.
Until they figure out how to get that car to recharge itself while I'm driving and get better than 300 miles per charge.
I hear you.
I'm not into that.
Let me shift gears, so to speak, because I drive a manual and you drive an automatic, so I'm going to shift the gears.
I drove a manual.
Yeah, you did. I know you know how to. I'm busting Martelle's chops because his new used S5 is here, and I was kind of busting his balls when I got here because I love it, but it's an automatic, so I was making fun of him. It's a beautiful car.
It shifts faster than I do,
and that's fair.
It shifts a hell of a lot faster than I do.
You're the kid on the bumper car. You need to learn how to shift faster.
Shit, if I could shift as fast as that car does.
Yeah, but I mean, you got the S5, these muscle cars and all that, and I get the distance, which if you're driving a real muscle car, you're not getting that big of a range.
If I was driving a real muscle car, I wouldn't be driving it I wouldn't be driving a muscle car from here to Pittsburgh.
Right. So that's what I'm saying.
I'd be trailering that thing.
The Tesla still fits the same kind of bill. The Tesla...
the Tesla SUV that...
I'm not talking about the SUV. I'm talking about what I rode in yesterday.
Even their S or their E model needs to be able to drive from here to Pittsburgh and back on a charge.
Okay.
Or at least here to Pittsburgh and get a portion of a charge someplace where I can charge it.
Okay,
and then
that's
get
where
back.
I was going. So hear me out here. So here's what happened yesterday. I went... My buddy Clay that I bought my junky old truck, from... Yeah. He's kind of... he's the guy that started Columbus Cars and Coffee. And I decided, you know what? I haven't been up there in forever. I'm going to drive his old truck, go up there. Some of my other car buddies were going, so I went to meet up with them anyway. And Dad and Kev came out and took Dad's 76 Ford. Good day out with the family. Beautiful weather. So we head up. We've been there for a while. We looked at cars we've got rat rods, hot rods. There were 3 different Lambos there.
And this is up at Lane Avenue, right?
No, this is at Lennox.
This is legitimately
Lennox
like listening to my wife talk about shoes. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, so... GW and cars.
They serve one purpose. They get me from point A
for about 10 minutes
to point B. You guys go nuts.
And No, but you know there was a Maserati there. There was some Alfa Romeos there, or Alfa Romeos, if you ask me. But there's just a wide variety of cars, and we're walking around and we're checking them out. And of course, Dad and I are more into the classics. And then I see Clay. I'm like, you know, Clay. From what I know, Clay owns a Chevy Silverado now that he bought after selling me a truck. It was a fleet truck. Mm-hmm. He owns a '95 BMW convertible. He owns a Cadillac CTSV. Is it a CTSV? Maybe not. One of my car buddies will yell at me when they hear this. But it's a Cadillac CTS something.
Is it two-door?
I don't even remember. So anyway, he has a Cadillac, and then he has a 1978 Lincoln that he slammed to the ground. It has spoked wheels, and it's all pimped out.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen any of those cars because I was looking for him, so I know he was there. You know, a crowd of a couple hundred people. Well, I see Clay all of a sudden. Hey, how you doing, blah, blah. And Dad and I just saw this Tesla, and I'm trying to explain to Dad what a Tesla is. He's old school muscle car, carbureted engine. I was like, yeah, here's what I know about him. I kind of give him little points. And I was like, Clay, what car did you drive? He goes, oh, the Tesla. I was like, bro, like, you didn't want to spend $1,000 on a pickup truck. When did you buy a Tesla? I don't know. It's my father-in-law's. Well, he was just talking with some of the other car guys I was met up with. He's getting ready to take them for a ride. He says, when I come back, I'll take you guys for a ride. Well, okay, cool. So we go to get in this Tesla. It's a Tesla 90D. So it's the dual motor, all-wheel drive. Mm-hmm. Okay, sedan. Four-door sedan. So he gets in it. He's 225. He's driving. I'm in the passenger seat pushing like 4 bills. My brother's about as big as I am is behind him. And my dad's in the back seat who weighs about 235. A lot of weight in this car. So we get in, he's telling us everything it does. And it's like, oh, you know, that it's got the giant screen. And he said he has his father-in-law has it set because he has a steep climb into his driveway. The thing senses when he's near home using GPS, and it'll raise the car up. The suspension will raise it. Yeah. And then once he puts it in park and knows it's done, it lowers it. And just all the cool little features like that.
Oh, it's got all kinds. They have all kinds of cool little.
But what got me was we got on 315 North. We were not in Columbus, Ohio. We were on a racetrack that was perfectly legal in Mexico. And he said, we're going to go from 50 to 100. I'm like, okay, I've done that in several different vehicles, all legally, of course. So we get on 315. It just so happens that at this time on this day, we get on
the road
racetrack, and I guess there's nothing to be done now.
But got anyway, on the tarmac.
We get on the tarmac, and there's nobody behind us, and only a few cars in front of us. Well, the cars in front of us start exiting and like open up like 2 lanes, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, this is perfect." So he gets 50. He's like, "All right, man, here we go." And all he does is put the pedal to the ground, and it's instant torque. It throws us back in our seat with all the weight in it. We hit 100 mile an hour, and he's cruising there, like holding it like you would going down the back road at 35, one finger on the wheel. You don't feel a bump. This thing is it is the smoothest handling car I've ever ridden. It rides better at 100 on bumpy 315 racetrack in Mexico than a Cadillac does on a newly paved road. Like, it was the smoothest ride I've ever felt. At that speed, that you didn't feel wind drag. You didn't hear any noise. Like my grandparents and GW's in-laws have bought 2 Priuses. I've driven them both. I don't like them. I get why they get them. You know, Grandpa likes to brag about how many miles per gallon he gets, but it's electric car. But the Tesla is on a completely different level of all automobiles. I get what you're saying, but here's the thing: he drove it to Tennessee, and my question was, I asked him, I said, "What's the range?" And it was like 290 something.
Right.
Well, when he lets off the gas, it starts electronically braking, so you don't have wear and tear on your brake pads, which you can turn this off. But while it's doing that, it is charging a little.
It does a little charge,
but it's not a lot.
It does active charging.
He said literally, you look at the app just like you would your Maps app or your Waze, and say, I'm going from Columbus, Ohio to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. It'll show you everywhere along the way that you can plug in at, whether it's a Cracker Barrel, a gas station. He said him and his wife went out in it the night before or something. Said, we were driving and it was getting a little low, and I put it in place to grab a drink, plugged it in, came out 40 minutes later, and it charged it went from 2 hours, or what do you say, 20 miles to 180 in 40 minutes. And the thing is, it's free. So you buy this car, you have no oil consumption, so there's no cost there. You have no mechanical parts breaking. You have no fuel cost at all. You don't even pay for the electric you use at all these places you stop.
Someone's paying for it.
Not you. If you're doing it at a restaurant or something, it's not you, because the drain on them You know, if you're going in there to eat or something, they're making their money.
Oh, I know. I'm just giving you shit.
And I don't care because I'm never going to afford one.
But
You can hate them all you want.
You know who's better than Tesla though?
It was don't
LeBron.
Okay, I thought you were going to make an Edison joke.
No, way better than Tesla. LeBron, way better.
We're not talking sports anymore. Stop.
I'm sorry, I just woke up again. So,
but seriously, I got out of this car, dude. I was grinning ear to ear. It was one of the most fun vehicles I've ever ridden in my entire life.
The thing that I don't like about it at this point is it's still new technology.
Agreed.
Like I'm all for it. Like, hey, bring it on. Start incorporating it in other cars. Enhance the technology. Make it better. I would like to see these things hit 1,000 miles. I'd like to see the batteries get smaller and lighter.
Yeah.
So you want it to get longer charge on a smaller battery?
No, I want to see a longer distance. Eventually. Not on a smaller battery. I want to see a longer distance with a lighter battery. The batteries are so fucking heavy.
But that's the thing that you can't. Those two things go hand in hand. In order to go longer, they have to have a higher charge.
I think they'll find a way to use smaller batteries that charge more rapidly or while you're driving, though, because think about computers.
What they do with the Apple. I mean, they've done it with Apple's phone. The Apple phone gets a hell of a. They've put a lighter, higher capacity battery in the iPhone.
They've changed their electronics from a consumption standpoint. Now you're getting into engineering, so I can talk again.
Are you back?
I'm back. Now we're talking about engineering,
and that's what they need to do with this car.
Well, but in order to do that, if you're going to talk about the charging while it's driving and all that stuff, they're going to have to change their entire marketing concept, because what Randy was just talking about is one of the big things they hang their hat on. This is
being able to stop.
This is a one-time cost. You're going to pay a lot of money for it, but then you don't have to worry about a whole lot of other stuff.
Right.
In order to do what you're talking about, you're going to have to incorporate brushes, basically, that rotate with the bearings in order to send a charge back to the batteries. Those brushes are going to wear out. Like, there are marine engines that do you're talking about doing.
They eventually will.
Sailboats use them.
I'm not even talking about charging while driving. So I'm not like the brushes. I'm more into, they need to come up, like, they need to take solar power or like solar charging to another level where it can charge faster.
The problem with using solar to do it is you have to have a different kind of battery. You can't charge a lithium-ion battery with solar.
Well, then they need to figure that shit out.
What you need is a windmill on top of the car.
Hey,
but again, you're
put
still
it in the grill.
A lithium-ion battery won't. Or they're technically, I think they're cadmium batteries, but either way, they're a different type of charge. So if you're going to use solar or wind or whatever else, you've got to dump that into a deep storage battery, which is still a traditional acid battery. It's like a water and acid battery. So you've got to then figure out how to send that into the batteries that are actually running the car. In order to do that, you can't make them lighter. You're actually going to make them bigger, quite a bit bigger, as a matter of fact.
Here's the thing. First off, I think they should make them hydroelectric. Secondly, think about that one.
I'm sorry, what?
No, but for real, what I was really going to say, though...
You want to put a water pump station?
and Tesla's not trying to sell cars to people that want to drive them across the country.
No. And that's my thing. Your S5 is a perfect example. Yes, you can get in and drive Pittsburgh. I know you're going to drive it there someday.
Yes, I will.
But for your everyday use, your everyday vehicle, for you driving from where you're at to Columbus, which is, what do you drive, 30 miles, give or take?
Yeah, about that.
Okay. You've got a 300-mile range. You plug it in at home. There's a butt ton of places in Columbus you can plug it in. I don't know if you can where you work.
Yeah, I can plug them in at work.
That's what I'm saying. It would be...
So what the hell are you whining about?
And you can... If Clay can drive to Tennessee and get through the mountains... I forget what he said, how much power he had. He got into the mountains and out of the mountains and everything. I don't see a downside to owning a Tesla, except for the fact that I'm poor.
The price tag.
Bingo. I was getting there. But if you spend... In the used ones, what I'm seeing... or hearing, I haven't researched this, so nobody try and bust my balls on this. Somewhere between 45 to 65, you can find a used one, especially if you go with the single motor, so it's only 2-wheel drive. But if you get the dual motor, if you get okay, I mean, if you can't handle rear-wheel drive, maybe. But you're talking, say you spend 90 grand on this car, and it's all-wheel drive, you can drive it year-round. It'll more than do what you need it to. It's got an open trunk and an open hood. You can haul a ton of stuff, right? You don't have to pay for brake pads for 100,000 miles. You don't have to pay for calipers.
Oh, I don't have
you
to
don't
pay for brake pads now for 100,000 miles. I can
need
just
them to
go
make
buy
a-
one
but
metal.
you don't ever have to worry.
I
you
just
don't
need to
ever
make
have
a
to worry
truck.
about oil.
If they make a truck, I'll buy one.
How much do you spend in gas over the lifetime of a vehicle? How much do you spend in the upkeep, the maintenance? You know what I'm saying? It's just
Oh, I know.
Tesla's got its downsides, sure. I'm not arguing that, but I think the upsides far outweighs the downsides because your S5, it's an Audi. It's going to break down at some point.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I know
it's going to cost you money, and Audis are not, especially an S5 is not cheap. DJ, we talked about his Audi is A5.
Yeah.
He had to replace the whole engine.
Right. Well, he didn't.
You know what I'm saying?
But that was covered under warranty.
It was, but these things break down on normal vehicles, on whether they're forced induction or naturally aspirated, that drive the cost of it. That stupid Volkswagen Jetta that I had.
Here we go
I paid
again.
so much for that. I probably paid twice of what I got the loan out for just in maintenance and upkeep.
If there is video right now, you would have just seen Brandon just roll his eyes all the way to the back of his head.
That's because he's a VW fanboy. If there was a LARPing for Volkswagen, he'd do it. He loves his Volkswagens
I
that
dress
much.
up as Volkswagens. And I run up and down the street.
The Volkswagen
And I
buzz.
go,
That's why the bicyclists don't get along with you. You're running in their lane.
that's right.
Looking like a beetle. But no, I'm just saying. I'm saying
get out of the way.
for the cost, if you can buy a Tesla used, so you don't take that new car hit.
You could.
You know what I'm saying? It just
I
makes
might
sense to me. If I want to
consider
spend $60,000 on a vehicle, and I could buy an used S5 or an EcoBoost F-150,
But I wouldn't have been
or
able to get a Tesla for what I got that S5
no,
for.
you've got that's an exception, but there are S5s that go for more out there.
Oh, I know.
You get what I'm saying? If you're in the same price range, all things considered, Tesla versus some other sedan or comparable car, I would say it just makes so much more sense to go Tesla. The fun factors there, even in a sedan,
Yeah.
it's all-wheel drive, so the drivability of it year-round is there. The speed, there's just nothing that a naturally aspirated car or, a fuel injection car of any type has over the electric car. Oh, I can ignore him all day.
I know.
I've done it for years. But no, that's all I'm saying. I went to Cars and Coffee, saw my good buddy Mitch Skinner, some other guys there.
Maybe
And
I'll go
then
next weekend.
Cletus, Jughead.
Well, next weekend I'll be helping Steve with his 69 VW Beetle. He finally got parts in. Well, they're
About
coming over
time.
by boat. He hadn't touched this thing in 3 years. I was like, bro, let's get it running. I'm coming up. And he's like, you reignited my passion. I want it running. I was like, it's been 3 years.
I'll have to see if I know anybody who's going up to Cars and Coffee next weekend. And then maybe I'll go.
Maybe.
Ugh.
Take the
Are you
S5.
awake now?
I am. I'm definitely not going to Cars and Coffee with you, but I am awake
Maybe we'll
now.
get you some coffee
He
while
doesn't,
we're up there.
he doesn't like either of those things.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of either one of those things.
Shit. Never mind then.
He's a
Yeah.
very simple man.
I really
in many
am.
ways.
So many ways.
Like he bought a truck and he's like, this truck's not working right. And he got a new truck. He's like, this one works better. Like that's about his extent of hard
Yeah,
knowledge.
that's exactly right.
Oh, I've got a story.
It's a legitimate use of a broom. Stop.
Look, my podcast, I get to tell the story.
That's fine, but then I'm going to correct your bullshit.
You can try and correct all you want. This one is factual. So I get a call. Hey, the Envoy's broken down. I'm pretty sure it's the alternator. Can you stop by and help?
It's because it was an Envoy.
Bingo. I was like, yeah, sure, I can come by and help. Cool. You got told. He's like, I think I got something. This is early in the day. So I get over there after work or whatever.
I had tried to get a head
And
start.
He tried
get the belt off.
He tried to get the belt off. So kudos for trying. GW owns 7 tools.
Well, at the time. Now I own a lot more tools. I'm much more competent with tools
You know when
now.
you go to like Home Depot and you see that little pink tool bag with the little pink hammer and the little pink screwdriver?
Yeah.
That would have been better than what he used to have.
Yeah, it was right along there with a little pink fuck you.
Oh, I'm looking for one to give and I can't find any. So I show up and I'm looking at him and I pull up and I just don't even get out of my vehicle. I don't even know what I was driving at the time. And I was like, what is he using? What is he doing? The hood's popped. He's working. I can't tell what he's doing. And I walk up and I go, what are you doing? He's like, I'm trying to get the belt off. I said, with a broom? He had taken
Now, let me-
let me finish.
Okay, and then I'll tell you what I was actually doing.
Was trying to release the tension pulley to get the belt off.
Just trying to push
using
it down.
A wood broom handle.
I didn't have a breaker bar.
He was sitting there trying to leverage with that. Kudos for the ingenuity, but seriously, it's like, tell me, hey, I have no tools and this is what I need to do. I would have brought a breaker bar.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it wasn't the best decision I've ever made. But
Also not the worst.
From an engineering standpoint, it was a functional attempt at a solution that
Being functional would mean that you used it to get the belt off. We never got the belt off using a broom handle.
if you had been there when I had the thing pushed all the way down with the broom handle, we could have gotten the belt off. But I couldn't hold it down with one arm and get the belt off with the other one. It was a 3-arm job.
This is why he sleeps through the car talk. That's all I'm saying. It was a 3-arm job.
Now, to be fair, since that point in time, I can make minor repairs to vehicles.
Yes.
I can't do anything crazy.
He can do things like fill up washer fluid,
I
put
can
gas
change
in
oil. I can do basic. I can swap out a radiator. There's things I can do that are basic.
Swapping out a radiator
Literally,
is
what
not
he's
basic.
describing
It's pretty
is
basic. It's like 6 hoses and 3 bolts.
No.
It should only be 2 hoses and maybe
Well, no,
6 bolts.
Isaiah's Civic. There's a hose at the top and then there's 3 along the bottom.
I went in on that one. He just told me it was bad. So
Okay.
I told him to get a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, what he knows is, oh, my son's car broke down. I guess I have to learn how to do this now.
YouTube is my
'Cause I'm not
favorite
paying
place.
anybody.
That's 100%
If you matter, he
true.
calls me or dad. Hey, can you come look at this?
100% true.
So you have learned a little out of necessity.
Right.
Whether it's done right or not, I don't know.
I know a lot about
but
other things though.
Yeah.
I know. I may do a radiator update on the S5.
Hey, if you need somebody to help, he can bring a broom.
There's no tensioner pulleys that need to be released.
He don't know that.
I hate everybody so much.
You know a lot about football.
That's true.
I'll give you that.
That's true.
And probably way more than anybody needs to about Bitcoin.
Probably true.
Bitcoin. I'm so pissed at Bitcoin.
I'm so
Why are
happy.
you pissed at Bitcoin?
Oh,
it's
here
not
we
even
go.
Bitcoin. It's Ripple.
Ripple's a terrible currency.
No shit.
Well, I don't know why anybody thought it was a good currency. Anybody who did any research on it understands that the actual token has no utility on the Ripple network whatsoever. None.
Well,
that's
Zero.
what I've been
Zilch.
saying for
It
like 20
doesn't-
years.
It isn't needed. Ripple's technology can exist and run perfectly well without ever using an XRP token.
My 114 units of Ripple that I own is only worth about $51.
Yeah, when did you buy it?
Like
At
a-
like $2?
Yeah.
Yeah, you dummy.
I got fucked.
Yeah, you did.
And I also own one called Sumo that I mined for a little
That
bit.
sounds like something
Yeah.
I could get into.
And
Some of
that's
those altcoins, just hang on to them.
garbages.
I mean,
well, Sumo's garbage. They split. And
oh, is it toast already? That's
Pretty
not something
much.
I'm familiar with at all.
So
Ether's still a solid buy right now.
Ether.
I'm a big Icon guy. You got some ICX.
I need to find an auto trader so that I can just get this shit
There's
out of
2
here.
or 3 bots I can point you towards.
Yeah,
I got a Facebook group.
I don't want to pay for
You
it
do
though.
not want to
Oh
get
no,
pointed to the bots he uses.
if you want a bot that's worth the shit, you got to pay for
I
it.
was looking at 2 that were free that run on the PC. That like one's called Gecko and the other one's called something else. I can't remember what the other one is.
Yeah, if you're-
Zenbot or something like that.
if you're gonna Zenbot's a home built router. Maybe it's that too, but it's also a home built router.
Yeah,
Now, if
they're-
you're gonna use bots though, especially like a motility bot, you've got to have enough funds in there to make it functional.
yeah,
like if you don't have at least 5 figures working, bots aren't going to do much for you.
Well, then that's the thing. If I had more money invested in this, I would consider the bot. But considering my portfolio value was $59,
yeah,
no.
yeah. Ripple's bad move.
Ripple was a horror. Well, at one point I was up like $300.
Well, sure you were, because people went stupid for it for a
Yeah.
minute, and then
And-
people went. To be fair, back in December, people went stupid in general in the crypto world. It just went stupid.
Yeah, and that's about just before I got in,
And that's when you cash out as much as possible when it just went stupid.
and
When it went exponential curve, I was like, yeah, time to
I
lay low
should've-
for a little while.
Yeah, I should have gotten out then and instead of investing.
Platform tokens are the way to go if you're going to go altcoin.
So-
I'm not a big Bitcoin guy itself, the actual Bitcoin.
I cannot wait to see what you title this podcast. We've
I have
gone
no
over-
idea.
Little bit
How
of
long have we
everything.
gone?
About
Almost 2 hours.
2 hours.
this
I'm
is
going to
part
split
2.
it.
Yeah, this is multiple parts.
Hi, my name is Brandon Martelle. Welcome to part 2 of the
don't even-
We're Doing podcast.
I don't even know I'm going to do that. I'm just going to split it into 2 weeks.
We've
Were you guys
talked
still
about
talking about
everything.
Bitcoin? I
Yes,
said
we
I'm
were.
gonna
At
my
some
phone.
point we were, and then you
Yeah.
interrupted us with trying
You're welcome.
to do an intro at the end of an episode.
We could do a whole podcast about
Is that
cryptocurrency.
like,
As
is that like
me.
inviting people to ask us to listen? Hey, everybody, give us a listen.
Hey, welcome to the Buckhorn
We are
podcast. I'm
not
Brandon
letting you
Martell,
do a
and with
whole
me is Randy
podcast.
and GW.
I can't believe you got invited back after your debacle of the LeBron versus Jordan thing, which I had 2 people message me and say, hey, I agree with you. I think you're right.
Well, what's funny is I was listening to another podcast and they came up and they were talking about LeBron versus Jordan.
Yeah.
And someone goes, oh, fuck you, Jordan's better. And they ended the podcast. That was it.
If I'd have known I could have ended it that way.
I was like, holy shit.
Those people are all wrong. It's okay, though. People are emotionally attached to Michael Jordan for some reason.
You know a lot about football. I'll give you that.
Yeah, like I said, people are emotionally attached to Jordan for some reason. I'm not sure why, whether it's because he was a formative part of their childhood.
The only thing I'm emotionally attached to in this life is my wife, my kid and kid-to-be, and bacon. Everything else I'm just a fan of or I'm not a fan of.
I'm emotionally attached to my fur baby.
I found a killer rub.
Bacon.
I found a killer rub for pork belly burn ends. So just think inch-thick bacon turned into delicious gooey burn ends.
Go.
Yeah.
I keep hearing about this, all this smoked meat you keep doing.
Oh, dude, I told when you did that tenderloin. Actually, you know what? After I ate the 12 pieces of tenderloin and 2 pieces of corned beef in one sitting, that next week is when my stomach started jacking up.
That's how you got the hernia.
Well, I had the hernia before, but I think eating all the meat, the hernia was like, you know what? We're going to have to change something because this ain't working.
I will say, I do think that I have come as close as a human being can come to perfecting the smoked pork tenderloin.
You know what? I will bust his balls all day about a lot of stuff, and he is weirdly shaped, and he is not the best guitar player I know. He's not the smartest individual I know. Definitely not the best dresser, but he can smoke a mean tenderloin. Well, I posted, anybody that knows me and saw me on Facebook, for my birthday, I just triggered Diesel by setting my phone down. He thought it was the door.
Look at him.
He needs a safe
For
space.
everybody who can't see him,
Hey,
his nose is
Hey, everybody, look at Diesel right now.
his nose is stuck in the door, like he's trying to get outside.
So, but he made, for my birthday, my mom's like, you know, we're getting older and don't buy me stuff. Let's just get together. We'll have dinner and maybe a piece of cake and be good. And my mom goes, what do you want for dinner? And growing up, like, there are a few meals my mom made that were staples, like her shepherd's pie or her meatloaf. I said, let me think about it. So I thought about it, and I came back like 4 or 5 hours later, like, I know what I want. And she goes, what's that? I said, I want brisket, smoked brisket. GW has to make it. And she's like, okay, well, tell him. I said, no, it's my birthday. That's what I want. Like, I'm not doing the legwork. I'm not paying for it. That's what I want. So she messaged GW, and GW's like, yeah, how much you want to spend on dinner? Because that's not cheap. Long story short, they all pitch in together, get a nice, how was it, 17-pound brisket or something?
Yeah, pre-trim. After trim, it was about 13.
Should have left the trimmings on.
No, you don't want those trimmings.
I would have tried. But anyway, he made this brisket and burnt ends for my birthday, and then I took it home. That was Tuesday night. Every single lunch and dinner until Saturday night, I ate brisket and burnt ends. I'm not joking. That's
No
all
wonder.
I ate for a week.
And it was delicious the whole time.
Oh my gosh, it was so. I take it to work and eat it for lunch. Just a few pieces of like 2 slices of brisket and a couple burnt ends at a time.
Well, no wonder your stomach was all.
No, I was eating a normal amount of protein for a fat guy.
When you pick up that slice of brisket flat and you pick it up in the middle and it just folds down over like that.
Gosh, dude, it's
that's
so
how
good.
you know you've got it. You've made it home.
We're gonna have to smoke a brisket. Martelle's gonna have to try it and a tenderloin
I can do that.
by next week
I don't know about that.
because now I'm really craving it. Like,
Tenderloin's easy. Tenderloin doesn't even take that long. 4 hours, 4.5 hours.
Yeah, I hit him up at like 10:30 on a Saturday. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing for dinner?" Nothing. I said, "Why don't we get together and get a pizza?" I'll go see what kind of meat I can smoke. he just went off the store and he's like, "Hey, in 6 hours, this tenderloin and corned beef will be ready."
So I need to.
Oh, okay.
I need to break out my smoker.
What kind you got?
Oh, here
A
we go.
piece of shit
Here
one.
we go.
Oh, we can talk about smokers.
Dude, you're about to make him so happy.
We've got about 5 minutes
He
left.
brags about his smokers more than he does his kids.
My smoker is
My
one of
smokers
those.
are cooler.
But fair.
It's one of those cheap $120 red Brinkman, like lift the top off, like the whole side comes up.
You did it wrong.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I inherited it, so
I've owned
that's not
several
bad.
smokers over the years, and
Even tried to make a few.
the 2 that I have now are they're the same. I have 2 because sometimes I need to do a lot. And it's by a company out of Colorado called the Pit Barrel Cooker Company. And it's
I've heard of them.
55-gallon drum, ceramic coated, and it's the most amazing smoker in the history of the world. And people are like, "Oh, it can't be that." Listen, you put the meat on the hooks, and you put your charcoal and your wood in the bottom, and light it, and put the lid on, and walk away.
Put the rub on the skin, and then you drop the meat in.
Right.
Is that that's their new tagline?
It definitely should be. Yeah, he said he was talking about this pit barrel cooker smoker thing, and I hadn't really smoked a lot of meats and stop. Just don't.
That's not what I heard.
So I've smoked a ton of meat, but I've never prepared food. And but he's like talking about, I walked over and like I've had stuff from him, but I've never seen it. It literally just looks like an old oil drum. Well, new oil drum. I mean, it's nice, but it just looks like a metal drum. And he showed how it works, and I was like, yo, I don't care. Just keep doing whatever you do with that thing, because it is the best. Pit barrel makes the best smoked food ever. I've not had anything that comes close to it. Not from a fancy restaurant, not from anywhere. It's some of the best. Oh, man, I'm getting hungry now. You sure there's not syrup in that box over there?
You can go dig through it and see.
Syrup.
And the funny thing is,
I mean, you ate all my shrimp tacos.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I showed up late, and I said, I'm on my way, I'm running late, and Martelle just sends me back a picture of a plate of tacos, and I said, save me one, and he had 3 tacos worth of shrimp and salsa and corn and stuff for me, and it was great. So I did get lunch, but I would definitely slam some tenderloin right now if we had it. I'm not even hungry at all. It's just one of the things that night.
God, you're so fat.
Oh, dude, I'm huge. I'd never had real corned beef or smoked tenderloin, so he's like cutting it. And he cuts off the ends of the tenderloin. He gave me both ends. I was like, oh, that's good. And then my first plate, I had 2 more pieces of tenderloin, which the ends were kind of small. I had 2 full pieces of tenderloin, a piece of corned beef. And then I went up and got another plate with 3 pieces of tenderloin and nothing else. Or maybe I had a piece of cornbread. And then I went back up and got a plate with like 2 pieces. And this is, of course, like we're sitting around talking. By the end of the night, we'd been out on the patio for a while. I was getting kind of stuffy. The bugs were biting, so we went in, and I ate like 3 more pieces.
And a bucket of mac and cheese.
Dude, no mac and cheese. No room for mac and cheese here.
If you're truly a smoked meat connoisseur, sides are the devil. They take up valuable stomach space.
Right.
But
Randy's got 3 stomachs like a cow.
4. Don't they have 4?
I don't know.
Does it matter?
Well, I got 3 apparently.
I like tripe.
Okay.
It's cow stomach. It's pretty delicious.
Oh, okay.
Gotta be prepared properly.
Yeah, you do not want to eat cow stomach prepared improperly, believe me.
It's like eating haggis.
Well, no, the sides, that night my wife made green beans that were fresh from the garden. They weren't store-bought, with some potatoes and onions. And then she made this cornbread, and GW does not eat carbs. Like bread is a waste of space to him.
Bread is a waste of space.
He tried this cornbred because he was like,
which is impressive that I'm this fat when I really don't eat much in the way of carbs.
Really, right. Your body is an anomaly. I'm surprised you were not studied for like some kind of research. It's like, how does somebody get this lumpy and not eat any bread? But yeah, he tried a piece of cornbread. He ended up eating a whole, like, probably like a 10 or 12 inch round pan.
Little round pans.
Yeah, and my wife, he was like, and even his wife was like, you never eat any kind of bread, let alone cornbread. What is going on? She was like, stop. That's too much cornbread. And he's like, it's the best I've ever had. Beth made it, and he asked my wife, he goes, what kind of cornbread is this? She goes, a box of Jiffy corn mix. That's all it was. But yeah, so I like sides. My first plate I had cornbread and green beans, but from then on it's just meat. You having a dream there, Diesel? About to kick my mic over. All right, man, I don't even know. This was not conspiracy theory anything.
Well,
that's fine.
I told you we weren't talking about that. I'm over that shit now.
You're over conspiracy theories?
Yeah, I'm done with that.
We're done.
I'm past that.
No more giants at Kandahar, no lizard people. We're still inconclusive on the Yeti.
How are we inconclusive on the Yeti?
Well, because if you believe Loch Ness Monster exists, you can't say that there's no way that a Yeti exists, or Sasquatch. That's logic.
No, that's not logic.
Yeah, he doesn't listen to the podcast, obviously.
No, I'm just telling you that's not logic.
Well, that's your opinion.
And
I'm not even the one that said it. I'm really playing devil's advocate now.
If you're going to dive in and talk about the Loch Ness Monster, now we're talking about nothing more than
a plesiosaurus,
an actual dinosaur that we actually have skeletons of, that we know existed at one period in time, and that people think might have existed till now, which I think is sketchy anyway.
And that people took pictures of.
Yeah, I wouldn't call those pictures. I would call them a little sketchy.
Lithographs.
Well, I mean, there's pictures, but what are they pictures of?
Depictions.
Like, since we've had camera phones, has anybody taken like a really high quality picture?
I thought no. I just know the
answer is
traditional
no.
messy picture, but apparently there's a lot of them out there.
There's I don't want to get into this now.
Okay,
We
let's
don't have
not.
time.
We're done. Thanks for listening, people.
See, I can almost get GW going off about anything, whether he
True.
cares about it or not.
Other than cars, I go to sleep.
Yeah, other than cars. You can sit here and be like, your truck sucks, and be like, okay, whatever, it got me here.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
He does what I need it
He
to
does
do.
not care.
We can get into Loch Ness and all that next week.
All right, you want him back?
Why not?
Jeez. That's going to be like 4 or 5 episodes.
So?
Bring meat.
And on that note,
All right. Yeah, we're going to end this episode.
Probably
So
a good
with
idea.
that, I'm Brandon Martelle for Randy and GW. This is the Buckhorn Podcast. Make sure to like, share,
Hey, give us a listen, guys.
and listen. Share it with...
Do us a favor. Click share on the stupid links. It doesn't take you that long, and I see y'all sharing the stupid memes that I post anyway. Share the freaking Buckhorn podcast for us. Because
Just
I want this to make me money. There, I said it.
download Pocket Cast and subscribe. We're not even asking you to listen.
Yep, get
Just
on the-
Don't even
download
listen
and
to the show. Just
I
subscribe.
mean, that's why, even if I share a link, you don't have to listen. Just click share. That's all I want.
Share it with a friend. Share it with a coworker. Share it with your grandma.
As her birthday cake catches fire from the Chinese candle.
Oh, God.
Share with your friends that you can take to Louisville, Kentucky.
And we're out.
Peace.
Later.